ladies and gentlemen, give a great big rousing welcome to Ralph Watson.
Thank you very much, Mike. Can we do a quick sound check? Can you hear me at the back? So if we speak very quietly, we can talk about them. Okay. This is great. I'm tempted to come on and say, hello, Bromsgrove. Hello. Please yourself. I was just sitting there thinking, next time I'm with a bunch of my speaker pals, I'm going to say, I've just done a gig at a football stadium. And then I'll go very quiet when they say where. As Mike was saying, I've spent about the last 20 years now travelling. I've been very fortunate, very honoured to be able to work pretty much around the world, predominantly the eastern side of the world, Europe, Middle East, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, down into Northern Africa, and some of the places where these days people really don't want to go. You know, I mean, I was in Iraq before people were worrying about Iraq. Before all of that gave me the opportunity to do the things that I know and love doing, I had a corporate career for about 20 years. And a bit like Mike, I went through a period of ill health. And a little voice in my head said, if you don't change this, it'll be the end of you. So I moved on to better things. But I want to wind the story a long way back, if I may. Is that okay? I want to tell you a story. I had a very unhappy childhood. Aww. I was more unhappy than that. Aww. I was born at a very early age. And by the time I was about 10 years of age, I was miserable. And I was miserable because I didn't like my name. See, I was born in the early 1950s in a place in North London called Arra. And all of my friends had really great names. You know, I mean, they had names like Michael, Andrew, Peter, Stephen, which is good because you can shorten those. You can be Mickey, Andy, Pete, Steve, Dave. And what was I? Ralphie. I mean, I ask you. So I remember going home and saying to my mum and dad, can I please have a different name because I don't like being called Ralph? And my father took me and he sat me down and he said, look, let me explain to you. My name's Ralph, as in my father. Your grandfather's name was Ralph, your great-grandfather's name was Ralph, your great-great-grandfather's name was Ralph. So it's a family tradition that we pass it on. He said, if you really don't like it, what I suggest you do is think about where the name Ralph came from. So I said, okay, fair enough. It came from my dad and my mum, I think. It's on my birth certificate. He said, no. If you go back to Northern European history, to the days of the Norsemen, the Vikings, the name Ralph actually comes from the name Wolf. The name Ralph actually means wolf. And that moment changed my life because from then on we'd got Pete, Mike, Dave, Steve, Andy and Wolfie. It doesn't half change your outlook on life. So I began this kind of interest in the wolf and it stuck with me. You know, whenever we went to the zoo, the only animal I wanted to go and see at the zoo was wolves. Okay? I even, for my pains, sorry Mike, became a Wolves supporter for a short time. But then they weren't winning anything, so I moved on to Leeds. Yeah, fickle. I'm fickle.
Or your local team.
Oh, you're joking. I grew up in Swindon. Later on, when I got into my corporate career and I started doing a lot of reading, I started studying this creature. And what I discovered is this. There is a great deal of similarity between the wolf in the wild, was it something I said? The wolf pack and the high-performing team and individual. There are some tremendous similarities. So as I began my coaching career, I began adopting the attitude and looking at the patterns of these creatures. And yes, I've had an opportunity to meet some close up. Have any of you ever had a close encounter with a wolf? It's not like petting an Alsatian, I can tell you. So I really became interested in these. And what I'm going to do this afternoon, because I've only got a couple of hours, I'm a bit like Ken Dodme. Once I'm on, you can't get me off. What I want to do is to share with you just a few traits from the wolf pack and the wolf that can help you to do much more in your life and in your business. Is that okay? Okay. So this is my role model, and I'll share with you just a few of these things. The first is this. Okay? Someone just introduced themselves as an NLP master practitioner. Yeah? So you'll know what I mean when I talk about being outcome focused. Okay. It's about knowing what your goals are. Now, this seems to be this great trend. I've been talking to a lot of people lately who've been saying, I don't work with goals. Goals don't work for me. And then I look at their bank balance and I can understand why. You need to know exactly what you want, and you need to be absolutely focused on it. You need to get it in, not only in your mind, but in everything in your being. You watch this, can I say guy? Is that okay, ladies? Right. You watch this guy in the wild when he's hunting and just look into those eyes. He is absolutely focused on the objective. He is there to bring down his prey, or her prey, totally focused. And I'll show you how much of a similarity there is. Yeah? We've got any Rocky fans here? How many of you remember the old Rocky films? What was it? Eye of the Tiger. Well, this is that wolf gaze which says, I have one thing in my mind, and that thing is to achieve my goal. Now, when I'm coaching businesses, and it doesn't matter whether you're a one-man band or whether you're the CEO of a £20 billion turnover organisation, one of the first things I want to ensure is that they are actually focused on what it is that they want to achieve. How many of you go shopping? Just a little show of hands. You know, if you're alive, please raise your hand. When you're right, okay. How many of you, when you go shopping, make a list of the things that you want to buy? Yes. I'm not allowed to go shopping because I always come back with everything that's not on the list. But how many of you make a list of what you don't want to buy? There's always one.
I have to, because otherwise I end up with 16 packets of something. Right. I keep thinking, have I got any of those? Or I'll buy some just in case.
Yeah, I go in with a basket and come out with a trolley.
So I have a section in my shopping list that says no, and I put what I'm not.
Brilliant. I love you. Please marry me. The thing is that as a coach, people are constantly telling me what they don't want, but they're not focused on what they actually want to achieve. So you've got to be very clear. How many of you were here when my friend Dave Heiner was here? You'll see Dave? Yeah. Did he show you the pyramid? Yeah. Breaking down your goals? Yeah. Brilliant. Love the guy. I've known Dave for about 18 years now. So you've got to know exactly what you want. You've got to be totally focused on it, almost to the exclusion of all else. Trait number 2. You've got to develop an insatiable appetite for success. I heard a great saying yesterday, or a great phrase, and I can't claim any credit for it. Do you all know what OCD is? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Yeah. Well, here's a new version for you. Obsessive compulsive desire. It's where somebody is insatiably hungry to achieve that success. Now, the wolf in its environment, I mean, it operates in a totally merciless environment. A bit like Birmingham, really, I suppose. And it is constantly hungry, but it is insatiably driven to hunt, to succeed. And the best performers, and I've worked with some top performers in business, in sport, in politics, and various other aspects, And they have that insatiable appetite for success. Look at some of these people. Who's that? Mo Farah. What do you think he's thinking about when he's preparing to run for yet another medal?
How can I get back into the United States?
Yeah. Makes you wonder why he wants to go there in the first place. What about this guy?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. This one?
Jessica Ennis.
Jessica Ennis. Insatiable appetite for success. These are people, these sports people, are people who not only train hard to achieve what they do, they are obsessively, compulsively driven to do it. Nothing else exists. In his early days, Richard Branson was much the same. Yeah? He's very lucky now. He has a lot of time to do the things that he loves doing as well as working. But I have this saying which I picked up a few years ago from someone else, which is, do what you have to do now so that you can do what you want to do later. You know, people say to me, you've got to have work-life balance. Yes, you have. But sometimes you've got to tip the scale a little bit and you've got to focus. You've really got to get hungry to do the things that you need to do. Oh, and there's the other guy. I thought I'd bring a Spurs man along for you, Mike, okay? And all of these people have this in common, and that is that they are prepared to do whatever they need to do to achieve their goal. So my question for you is, how hungry are you? How hungry are you? Because you get the people who say, yeah, I really want to make this work. I want to get this. I want to make this business grow. This is going to be my life. Oh gosh, it's 4:30. I've got to get down the pub and meet the lads. Now I have people who phone me at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, leaving me voice messages because there is something that they're working on and they will not stop until it's done. So how hungry are you for what you want to do? So the next thing is, you know what you want, you're hungry enough to get it, what have you got to do?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So you've got to take relentless, effective action. Any of you see, there was a movie not long ago, Liam Neeson, called The Grey. Any of you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely relentless. The wolf is on his trail and it will not stop. Nothing stops it. Okay? It's about taking relentless action. It's about taking effective action, though. You see, if you are constantly doing something that's not working, what are you going to get?
Nothing. No result.
Nothing. You're going to get no results. So it's got to be effective action. I worked with a vending machine company based out of Leicestershire about 5 years ago. I remember meeting the guy, their sales director, Adam, and he said to me, we've got a formula. We've been using this formula for 10 years now, and it's been brilliant. I said, what is it? He said, okay, the formula is they make 25 cold calls on foot in a day, and then they phone everyone that they spoke to from those 25, and from those 25 they're expected to make 5 appointments to pitch for business. And from those 5 appointments to pitch for business, they should get 1 order. And it's brilliant. I said, does it work? He said, it did. I said, what happened? He said, well, it wasn't working so well. I said, okay, so what did you do? And I'm waiting for some kind of innovation. He said, we doubled the number of cold calls that they have to do in a day. So now these poor guys are having to go out there on foot and make 50 cold calls in a day to make the phone calls to get the business. I said, great. What happened? He said, it didn't work. And this little voice in me is saying, don't ask, don't ask. I said, so what did you do? He said, we doubled the target for the cold calls. I said, really? I said, so what happened? He said, people were leaving. I said, okay, so what did you do then? He said, oh, we just recruited a load of young guys and gave them the job. So, you see where I'm going with this? He's taking relentless action, but it's not effective. What he finished up with was a bunch of untrained young guys who, because they were desperate for a job, were going out and hoofing it around 100 companies in a day and then amateurly making phone calls, and they're not getting any business. Because he was doing what worked 10 years ago. Okay? What worked 10 years ago isn't the same as what works now. I read a great book long ago, and my mind's gone blank. It does when you get to my age. What got you here won't get you there. Okay? So you need to think about what you do as being effective. So everything that you do has got to be effective. If it isn't, don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm kind of skimming through these because I know we're on a bit of a time limit. Is that okay? Good, right. Choose your pack carefully. And I'm not talking about marked cards. I'm talking about the people that you surround yourself with. This kind of thing, networking meetings, brilliant. Okay? You can meet lots of people. The question is, what do you do when you go away from here? Do you come along, drink some orange squash or dip a biscuit in some coffee, hand out a lot of your business cards and then go home? What do? You need to be selective in what you do, and you need to choose the people that you connect with. You need to be choosing to connect with people who can help you to grow you and grow your business. So you need to be less of a shotgun and more of a laser. When you go to a networking meeting, think about, who am I looking for? What kind of people am I looking for? And whilst it's lovely to shake hands with everybody and speak to everybody, start looking around the room with the same sort of eyes that these guys look around the room with. Okay? There's a guy over there who knows all about LinkedIn, and I want to make sure that I'm working effectively on LinkedIn, so I need to go and talk to him. There's a guy over there who knows all about using video to build your business, so I want to get and talk to him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you choose your pack carefully. Choose also the people that you interact with and connect with outside of work. Because have you ever noticed how some people are very good at dragging you down? Yeah? The emotional vampire who just seems to drag all of the energy out of you. Or the yeah-buts. Have you met the yeah-buts? I've just had a great idea, let me tell you about it. And you're full of enthusiasm, and then they go, yeah, but... And you go, oh. So be choosy about the people that you connect with. Make sure that the people, your loved ones, wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, partners, whatever social mix you're in these days, get them on side. Help them to understand that you need support, that you need encouragement. And find people who will hold you accountable. Do you understand what I mean when I say accountable?
Yes.
Yeah?
Keeping
cool.
your word, keeping your commitment.
Keep your word, keep your commitment.
Your goals.
When you
Choose
say,
your mission.
I'm going to give you the mic in a minute.
No.
When you say to someone, I'm going to do something, why not say to them, so can you just give me a nudge in a week and just check that I've done it? Yeah? One of the things that I'm really keen on is I work with what I call accountability buddies. Yeah? People come to me and they say, will you be my accountability buddy? I say, fine, sure. Tell me what you want to do and what you want to achieve. They tell me, and I stay on their tail. They've got a wolf on their butt who is constantly saying to them, so how's it going? You know, I don't phone them up and say, what have you done? I'll say, how's it going? What do you need? What's going well? What's not going so well? What do you need to change? And that's what a good coach will do. And one of the reasons that I got this title of the White Wolf is 1, because of the name, 2, because of the hair, and 3, because I hold people accountable. I believe that if you are a coach and you're coaching people, you should hold them accountable, and they should hold you accountable. I frequently say to my clients, how am I doing? What's going well for you? What would you like me to do more of or less of? Yeah. So be held accountable. And be prepared to make changes. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. So what do you need to change? Do you need to change the way that you work? Do you need to change the way that you think? You know, what you believe about yourself and about the world can empower you, or it can sink you. So sometimes there are things that you believe that need to change. Sometimes there are habits that need to change. Sometimes there are patterns that need to change. Find yourself a good NLP master practitioner who will help you to change those. And sometimes it's about looking at your business and looking at your goal and saying, this plan isn't working. It's not working out. But do you know how many people, when it's not working out, dump the goal? They say, oh, I can't do that now. I've realized that it's not working. Don't change the goal. Change the plan. Keep the goal. So too many people give up on their goal, give up on their dream, because what they're doing isn't working. Yeah? How many of you here have got a car with sat-nav in it now? Sat-nav. Lovely. Have you got one of those where you get in and you tell it where you're going and it gives you options? I love that. Yeah, mine says fastest, shortest, time and distance. What's the other one? Eco. What's eco? Is that economy? Yeah.
Walking.
So it gives me yeah. Shanks's pony. It gives me 4 options. Now, if I am driving towards my destination and I become aware that there's a major hold-up of some description, do I turn around and go home? Yes. No, what I do is I hit the sat-nav and ask it for an alternative route. And yet people in business don't do that. Very often they give up. People in life give up too easily. Do not give up on your goal or your dream. Change your plan. Because if you don't, if you give up on your goal or your dream, you're going to end up suffering because of it. You know, some people get depressed, they get stressed, they wear themselves down simply because they've walked away from what they want to do. So, my question for you is this. Have you got what it takes to be a wolf? Has anybody got any questions or anything that they would like to ask me to help you with? Yes.
What about if you don't really know, like you know what the goal is overall, and it's not like, it's sort of the only path you see to get in there is more like a voluntary thing, but your personal responsibilities and things inquire different. Like if you have like multiple goals,
Yeah.
and part of them being responsibilities, part of them being what you feel should be part of your responsibility as
Yes.
a person. How do you kind of manage that?
Okay.
Speak to Mike about time management.
That's a really good question. And the reason is, it's a good question because the number of people who come to me as a coach who have exactly that situation. You see, wouldn't it be lovely if in this world we all knew the one thing that we exactly wanted to get and we could all work towards that? Yeah? Life doesn't work that way, does it though? So what you've got to look at is, what are the things that you want to achieve? What are the priorities on those things? And is there a negotiation that you can do in there? For example, I really want to achieve this, but there's also a responsibility for this. and this and this and this. So is there a bit of a negotiation in there that enables you to bring those together somewhere that gives you the ability to achieve much of what you want to achieve? Yeah. And that's where sometimes a good coach could come in, because they'll ask you the right questions to help you explore that. I mean, that's probably a good couple of hours conversation to do that with a flip chart and coloured pens and some music. I hope that helps. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?
Music.
Should I tell the people that I'm going to call from my network that I'm doing that, or let them just find out at a later date?
Should I tell the people that I'm going to call from my network? Can you expand on that a little bit? So I'm not quite clear.
Well, you say network with the people that you
Yep.
are going to be an advantage to you.
Yes.
So there's going to be people in one's network that aren't going to be advantage to you. Should you tell them that you're culling them from your network?
No. But, I guess in the wild they'd get eaten, so that would cull them. No, but there are layers for your network, aren't there? There are the people who are nice to be connected with, and you get lots of emotional support and energy and kind of in this environment. And then there might be those 2 or 3 that you really want to supercharge your connection with. So I would maintain a casual connection with the majority and focus a deeper level of connection with those few. So, for example, and I'm just using Ian as an example because Ian and I have met a few times and I know what he does. So I might be aware of what Ian does. I might make a point of connecting with all you folks, and I'll give you my various contacts, etc., later on. But I might single Ian out and give him my card and say, look, I really would like to talk to you about some business. Here's my card. When's the best time for me to call you? Yeah.
I might add to that, Rolf, there's also a thing you probably know, it's a topic I can't remember, so you get plus or minus 10% of the environment in which you operate.
Yep.
So consequently, if you're earning £500 a day and you earn £5 a day, go and operate and mix with people who earn £5 a day.
Yep. Yeah. There's another saying that you become the 5 people that you connect with most. Yeah. I've got time for one last question before I get dragged off. Cool. In that case, all it remains for me to do is to throw this slide up. How many of you got your smartphone with you? Okay. If you want to take a picture of that, please do. My website is on there. There is a page on there where you can download, I think it's 5 or 6 free books. Please do. Please feel free to connect with me on Facebook or anywhere else. And if you email me with a question, I promise you, I will answer your email. Okay? I never dump anybody in the spam folder on their first email. Okay. Other than that, all it remains for me to do is to say thank you very much, and we've got a bit of a prize draw going.
We have. What we'll do is we'll do that in a bit, and I'll get a chance to get all the business
Cool.
cards.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been great being with you.